Hi, my name is Velvet Curse and welcome to Let's Play Niche Survivors Cove Tribe. Last time we had a bit of a baby boom on our new island, which is much bigger than the old one, and some of our creatures started to head off in different directions to try and form their own family groups. We also tried to start hunting the bunnies but were not particularly successful, but did actually manage to breed out the poison fangs as we were trying to do in Echo here, who we're going to have to try and find a mate for shortly. So this time we need to start trying to breed out more of the poison fangs, and then if possible do a little bit more hunting so that we can get some attack stats in and basically unlock the claw so that we can start breeding some more strength onto some of our creatures, because the one thing that has been true so far is that we haven't seen any of the predators, and that can't last forever, especially on an island this large. So to start off the day, there is a bunny directly on top of the warren here, so if we could first see if we could get one of these creatures to be able to attack that bunny. So Sparky actually has a strength 2 stat, so if he can jump on top of the bunny to try and pin it, and then swipe at it and pick up the meat. So that was a successful bunny hunt. And then we can have her pick up from the berry bushes that she is sat between so that we get all of those berries. And Duchess can start providing us with a little bit more space into this grass, and she's actually found another permanent nest there that we can begin to use. So with that in mind, we can actually have Autumn pick up the rest of the grass used to build this nest now, because if we leave it lying around it won't be usable unless we keep updating it, which takes more and more grass. So Autumn is actually going to be a mate for Dotty up here because their genes are compatible. He has B and I, and she has A and G, and they also both carry the poison fangs, so there is a slight possibility that we might get poison fangs on their babies. So I want him to start moving up this way to join his new mate, and then I'll just have Echo hop out here next to Duchess just in case the bluebird appears in the sky. And then in regards to Kiro, we're going to have him start jumping around this way and apparently find a nest to be able to clear up some of the grass out here so that we can actually see what's going on behind the tree there. So Izanako can pick up from these berry bushes that she sat close to, and then she can start peering into some more of this grass, and we can have Cinder pick up from this berry bush as well, and he's going to be mated to Bubbles, as we know from the last episode, so they're going to be able to start their family very shortly, but I want to get a little bit more of this grass cleared out from the area before they do that. So if he jumps up here and peers into that grass. Now Bracken, I have actually noticed, is a nice match to Scylla, so I have designated them as a breeding pair. But if they are going to be a breeding pair, then we need to decide whether we want them to go up there with Bracken or come down here with Scylla. Now there isn't actually any family groups staying down here at the moment, and we do know that we have 2 berry bushes here. So just to keep picking from these berry bushes and not lose out on any of the food, I want to start moving down this way with Bracken, and they can create their little family around here. And that also leaves Paul protected by their little family, who maybe they will adopt him because Adrian sadly passed away last episode, so he doesn't have a father to look after him, so he might be picked up by Bracken and Scylla, who will care for him until he gets a little bit older. Thunder can clear out some of this grass so that we can actually see into it, and then of course Byron has had his berry bush picked clean by this pesky bunny, but he does not have any attack stats, so he can't actually do anything about it. He just has to watch and hopefully chase away the bunny. So if we have him move down here and just swipe at the bunny a couple of times, that might drive it off a little bit more. It doesn't do it any harm, he can't actually hunt it, but it just drives it away so that it's not stealing all of our berries. So Desert can pick up the nuts from around the tree so that we have more food, and then we can have Mountain pick up from his berries. There is unfortunately not very many, because as you can see from the brownness of the berry bush, we are starting to go into another drought, and we could really use some rain so that that doesn't affect us too much because our primary source of food at the moment is the berry bushes. So we will have River come round here behind her father and uncover a mole nest, and then Sierra can come down here and pick up some of this grass and try and dig so that we can actually see further into this area. And we still have Dottie up here, and Dottie does not have any attack stats, so again she can't do anything to this bunny, but she can clear more of the grass out for us so that we can see a little bit further. Now I'm going to have a bit of a sniff around and listen, because it does seem really strange to me that we haven't actually seen any of the carnivores just yet. We are doing quite well on not running into them, and it might actually be a fairly good thing because we haven't managed to breed too many poison fangs out onto our creatures, and we don't have any claws at all at the moment. So it's not going to be very good for us if we get a carnivore jumping out of the grass at us at this point. So that's all of the energy for this day, so we can skip the day. And we have rain, so all of our berry bushes will start getting more berries back on them now because we have the rain. We have moles, we have bunnies. So what we do need to do is find out which one of our creatures has attack stats. So Paul does, so he can jump down here and swipe at this bunny and he can pick up the meat on our next turn. I believe Bracken does as well, so he can jump up here and get this mole for us so that we have more meat from him. Scylla can pick up the berries in the area because she's between the two berry bushes, so that can be her job. We can have Byron pick up from this bush now that the rain has fallen and the bunny hasn't eaten all of the berries from it. And we can have Thunder start making his way across to clear out this grass for us. Desert can pick up the grass from around this tree and more of the nuts, and we can have Sierra jump back over here actually and breed with her mate Mountain again, and then jump back into the nest because we don't want to lose out on too many creatures, because obviously we did have a couple sadly pass away last turn. So River can pick up some of the grass from around the area, and we can have Mountain pick up from this berry bush just in case the bunnies decide to come down and try and eat from it. Bubbles, who is now fully grown, can pick up from these berry bushes, and so can her mate Cinder, and we'll very shortly start them off on their own little family as well once we've got slightly more of the area cleared out. I think they would stay up here a little bit, just slightly away from Bracken and his family so that they're not interfering. And Izizko, who was our wandering female, this is her final day of life, so I think what she would like to do is go back out here into the grass a little bit more, because that's where she came from and maybe she feels more at home there. She can uncover this berry bush so that we're aware that it is available to us, and Sparky can pick up from his bush and move off the bunny warren so that hopefully more bunnies will spawn from it so that we can start hunting them. Kiro can jump over here onto this bunny and swipe and get more meat for us. And Hare can pick up from these two berry bushes that she is near and get us a lot more food. Autumn can move up slightly towards this tree and actually start picking up these nuts, because there's nobody left directly around the tree who is picking up the nuts at the moment, and we don't want to lose them as one of our food sources. And then Duchess can start clearing out a path around this nest so that we can start to use it again. Now Duchess doesn't have a mate anymore because Flame was her mate and he sadly passed away, so we'll turn her gem back to green so that we know she is without a mate. And then her daughter Echo can move up here and move some more of the grass for us. Byron has one bit of health left. I will just move him down there so that we can get him to clear that grass out for us next turn. And Dottie can uncover some of this grass for us. Now I actually want Dottie to start a family very soon because she only has 7 days left on her life. So Dottie's mate was going to be Autumn, and he is only 4 days old, so he's only a teenager, but he will shortly be growing up. So we'll move him up there a little bit further towards her, and then she can start moving down towards this nest perhaps, so that they can start their own little family over there before she gets too old to have any children. So we will come over here and zoom into Sierra so that we can see what her new baby looks like. And it's another big-eared little fox-looking baby. So it carries, she carries the home immunity and the bee. She again carries the poison fangs, and as we can see, she also has the big ears. So we will jump into her family tree so that we can have a look what we'd like to call her. So I think I would like to call her Nymph. So our new little baby Nymph has been born to this side of the island. She has the chocolate brown fur again like her mother does, and her great grandmother Desert, I believe, is how they're related. And there is a bunny over here picking up from this berry bush. So we know that Sierra has some strength because she has the spiky body, so she can catch this bunny for us. And then Mountain can clear out the grass and pick up the rest of these berries. And then the daughter River can move up here a little bit into this grass and start having a look over this side of the bank. And Thunder, as we said, can clear out some of this grass for us. And Byron can pick up more of his berries from this bush. So Scylla has actually grown up now and is ready to breed with Bracken, and he's not too old, he still has 15 days left to live, but I don't want to leave them too much longer before they have at least their first baby. So if we get her to collect some of the berries and then hop into the nest and breed with him, and then he can actually come over here and take her place while she's pregnant and continue to pick up the berries from this bush. And then we have Paul, who can pick up the meat that he got last time, and then he can come over this way so that he can help collect from that bush on the next turn. So Bubbles can pick up from these two berry bushes that she is between, and we can have Cinder look into some more of this grass, and of course that's where Izuko passed away, in the grass that he has found where she went to die peacefully, and I'm sure she was happy with that. That's where she came from and that's where she went back to in the end. So Hare can pick up from these two bushes, and we have another bunny down here that we can actually have Kiro get. So he is becoming quite the little expert hunter at the moment, and we can have Duchess uncover this berry bush and some of this grass so that Echo can pick up from this bush and we actually know it's there. And then again we can have Autumn pick up some of these nuts, and we'll just have him jump one further up so that he's a little bit closer to his mate Dottie up here, and then we'll have her come down slightly towards this other nest so that she can be a little bit closer for when she's ready to breed. Sparky can pop up here and pick up the rest of these berries from this bush, and that means that we are getting actually quite a nice stock of food with all the berry bushes around and all of the bunnies that we're now hunting. And Mountain can come across here so that we can start uncovering more of this grass. So we do have Styla's first baby about to be born on this turn, so if we pass the day and we'll have a look, he looks absolutely enormous compared to her because he has the large ears which are basically covering her face. She has to put her nose between his ears to be able to see past him, but he also has the big body. So he's actually going to be quite a large creature when he grows up. He unfortunately does have haemophilia and the no fertility gene and carries the short eyes, but we can help with the short eyes by not putting normalize in his mutations, and we can help with the no fertility by putting normal fertility in his mutations. And then the only thing we really need to worry about is the haemophilia, and hopefully that won't be too much of a hindrance to us at the moment. So he's quite pretty. He only has the tiniest little stripes on his head, so if we actually have a look at him in the family tree, we can see he does have quite a lot of stripes across his back, but he only has the one tiny little stripe across his nose and the tiny little stripes across his legs. So he's actually quite pretty, and I think because of the stripes on his back, he actually looks like ripples in the sea, so I think I'll call him Tide. So of course he again has the runner leg and the nimble fingers. So we really do at this point need to be getting some of the claws into our creatures so that we can actually get some strength onto them. So if we have a look and see, we have 35 attacks out of 50 for the claw, so it won't be too much longer hopefully before we're able to mutate the claw onto some of our creatures, which would be a good thing. So if we have Thunder come up here and grab this mole for us, and then we can have Byron pick up from this bush. Now Byron is getting towards the middle of his life, he has 13 days left to live, so I'd really like to see if we can find a female that he can actually breed with. So he has the F and G gene, unfortunately River has the G gene. Desert actually has A and home immunity, so even though she's one of our older generations, for the sake of making sure we at least get one baby out of Byron, I would like to breed them together. So if we pop the normal eyes into his mutations, because we know that he carries the short-sighted eyes, and then other than that he's quite good other than his infertility. So we'll pop normal fertility into his other mutation, and then she of course was set up quite a long time ago because she has had children before, and that does also mean that they both carry the poison fangs, so there is the slight possibility that they could actually produce a baby with the poison fangs. So if I move her down and have her breed with him and pop her into this nest, she does only have 2 days left to live, so there's a possibility that this is the only baby they'll be able to have, but at least he will have bred once during his life, just in case we don't have another compatible female with to breed to him. So if we have a little look, Little Nymph actually has bee and home island immunity and the poison fangs, so they might actually be a good mated pair once she's grown up, but he'll be a little bit older, so I'm still glad that I've had one baby out of him and Desert in the meantime, just in case he's a little bit too old to have many children later on in his life. So once Nymph's a little bit older, they can be a mated pair, so I'll move her there next to her mother for this turn, and her mother can actually pick up the rest of those berries, and then her father and her older sister can clear more of the grass out along here. And River might actually be starting to think about migrating to another part of the island herself, so there's a possibility she might actually want to jump into the river and move all the way across here so that she's actually on the other side and she can see what's over here between these two trees, because we never know, there could actually be quite a lot of food over this side of the island. So Bubbles can pick up from her 2 berry bushes in the meantime and see if, oh, she actually managed to dig that root up, and then Cinder can take just a little bit of a further exploration to pick up some of the berries from this bush, and Sparky can continue to get his berries here from this bush and uncover a bit more ground for us. So we have got a couple more mated pairs going on over this side of the island, and we can have Bracken pick up all of the berries from both of these bushes, because of course he has 2 nimble fingers, so it is quite easy for him to collect from the berry bushes. So if we have Paul move back down here to protect our new little baby Tide, and that leaves Scylla free to perhaps come down to the beach a little bit and investigate what's down here. It doesn't seem like we've got any shells down here, but it was worth having a look. And Kiro again has a bunny right next to him, so he can grab that bunny for us. And then Echo can actually be the one to start uncovering some more of this grass. So Duchess is nearing the end of her life. She only has 3 days left to live. So in the final stages of her life, she's going to do a little bit of exploring around this side of the island up the beaches. And we can have her pick up from her 2 berry bushes and attempt a dig. And Dottie has a bunny right next to her there, but of course she can't do anything about that. So she is actually going to be able to breed with Autumn now, because he is now fully grown. So if he picks up one of the nuts and then jumps up here and breeds with her, now he has the short-sighted eyes in his recessive genes, but other than that he's not particularly bad on his genes. So we already have the eyes and the violet eyes in his mutation menu. Dottie doesn't really have any problems whatsoever with her genes. So if we actually look in the mutation menu and see what we would like to put in just for cosmetic value. So again, I think we'll put the violet eyes in because we haven't managed to mutate those yet, and I would like some different eye colours on some of our creatures. She has got quite a lot of markings on her, so I don't really want to be putting more markings into her mutation menu, so I might just leave her other spot open at the moment. And then I want her to jump down here into this nest, and she can collect from this berry bush while she's down here and clear that berry bush, because obviously Kiro is chasing the bunnies around, so he's not been able to do that. Bracken still has another turn down here, so he was able to dig. I was going to say he can just attempt to, but he was able to actually do that. And then Sierra can jump back over here towards the tree and actually fix the nest. She's not pregnant at the moment, but we might want to use it again very shortly. So we've got 2 females going to give birth when we skip the day. So if we actually zoom in on Dottie, just because this is going to be her first child. Oh no, I just saw a carnivore pop out of the grass over there. So that is actually what we call a Bearyena. So he won't attack until all of our creatures have had their turns first. So we don't need to worry about him immediately. So I'll have a little look at the new babies first, and he did actually get the violet eyes, which is lovely to see. We've managed to be able to mutate that onto one of our babies. He of course does have the lovely poison fangs, so he will actually be good to help us with the Bearyena situation once he grows up a little bit more. Possibly not this Bearyena, because he's only a tiny baby at the moment, but in future he does have the poison fangs and will be able to help us out with that. He has this lovely sort of chestnut brown fur with the flame-like mane on top. He unfortunately does only have the lean body, which doesn't do us any good at the moment. But other than that, he has really good genes. He didn't get the short-sighted eyes. He got really good fertility. He doesn't have haemophilia, so he is a really good addition to our tribe. So let's see, what do we want to call him? Because of his red mane, I think I'm going to call him Smolder. And then of course we did have another baby born over here on this side of the island to Desert, who has come from Byron, and he is another little boy. He's very, very red. He's actually rather bright red. He doesn't have any short-sighted eyes either. He doesn't have haemophilia. He has quite good fertility. So the only thing that I would really have changed with him is, again, he has the spiky body, which must have come from one of his parents, even though neither of them have it. Yes, Desert carries it. So it has actually come from Desert. But that's alright, because it will actually help. The thing that the spiky body actually helps with is if one of the predators was to bite him, it would actually hurt them, so we don't really want that to be happening. And then of course it does injure our creatures if we try and stop them from having the bleeding effect as well. So if we have a look what we would like to call him, I think I'll call him Rush. And then we want to go back and deal with this Bearyena situation. So the Bearyena has 14 days left on its life. Now each attack that one of our creatures has, if they have any strength skill, equates to taking 1 day off the Bearyena's life, and then obviously once it has no days left it will pass away. So we need to find some of our creatures. Now Autumn unfortunately does not have any attack skill whatsoever, so he's not going to be able to help us. So if we move him over here a little bit out of our way so that he is not between us and the Bearyena. We know that Kiro has attack skill because he's been hunting the bunnies for us, so if he comes across here and swipes at the Bearyena twice, and then we can see that that has taken 4 days off the Bearyena's life, it's done 4 days of damage to it. So we need to find some of our other creatures. Now we do know that Echo has poison fangs, so she can poison the Bearyena, but she doesn't actually have any attack skill. So if she bites the Bearyena, it will be poisoned and it will lose extra life for every turn that it takes. But ideally we would like it to die before the turn is over, because if the turn ends and the Bearyena is still alive, it will attack one of our creatures, probably Kiro now because he's hit it. So her actually does have 2 attack, but unfortunately she does not have the speed to be able to get over to the Bearyena, whereas Sparky does. So if we move Sparky up here and get him to attack twice, we can then see that the Bearyena now has 6 days left on its life. So we need to find more creatures that have that can actually get there and that also have attack skill. So Duchess does, I'm not sure whether she's going to be able to get there, but she can come up here to at least be close just in case the Bearyena survives this turn, which it may very well do, because quite a lot of our creatures that do have attack skill are going to be too far away. So it might be that unfortunately Sparky takes a couple of turns of damage in this turn, which I would not have liked to have happened. But we'll see if we can jump Echo up here and actually attack the Bearyena, so that it should now hopefully be damaged and it should take some poison after the turn has ended. So I'm not really sure if there's anybody else that can get over there to actually help. Thunder may be able to get over there and get 1 attack in, and he has 3, so let's find out. No, he's not able to actually get close enough, so I'll move him up here so that he can actually help next turn if it's needed, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to help this turn. We'll put Duchess between Autumn and the Bearyena. I'm fairly certain that the Bearyena will not attack Autumn, but just in case, we'll put her between them, and then Dottie can still collect food for us and clear some of this grass, because the more grass that we have around, the more likely we are to get more carnivores spawning, because they tend to spawn in the tall grass where we can't actually see them. And then we have Bracken down here, can pick up his berries. Of course this little family is quite far away from where all of the commotion is going on, so they don't really know much about it. We have Scylla down here, does not have any fishing skills, so she's probably not going to be able to get any of the fish, and she wasn't able to, but she had a go. And then we can move her back up again next turn to possibly breed with Bracken again, now that we've found out that she can't really fish very well. We'll move Tide up next to his adopted brother, basically Paul, and Paul can look around the area for some roots and some more food for his little adopted family. And then we'll move Desert just here to see, yep, she was able to actually pick that root up, but we'll keep her there next to her new son just in case the bird appears in the sky, because we don't want a bird situation and a Bearyena situation. That wouldn't be good for us. And then we can have Sierra in a second come up and breed again with Mountain, but I want to see if he can, yep, he can actually catch this mole for us in the meantime, and then she can hop up here, breed with her mate and hop back down there into her nest. We can have Nymph come up here and collect from the berry bush that her father has abandoned, and of course her big sister River is going to start clearing out some of the grass over here to see what she can find. We can have Cinder pick up from the berries and clear some more of this grass, because even though he could make it to the Bearyena, he's not going to be able to actually help because he doesn't have any strength, and neither does Bubbles, unfortunately, so she's just going to have to collect the berries for us so that we have more food for our tribe. I don't want Bracken to move any further away because I want him to breed again with Sierra next turn, so I'll leave him where he is, and we'll leave Paul where he is to look after Little Tide, and we'll leave Desert where she is on her very final day of life to make sure that her baby is safe and sound before she passes, which means that we're not going to use any more of our turns, so we'll unfortunately are going to take a couple of hits from the Bearyena, so we'll come up here as we skip the day to see who takes those hits. And unfortunately it was actually Little Autumn, which is quite surprising, so he took 3 days of damage from his life, unfortunately, which does mean that we might want to have him breed a few more times with his mate fairly shortly, because he's going to have 3 days left on his life, less on his life, sorry, than he would have done normally. So the Bearyena took 1 point of damage because he has poison from our little Echo up here. So he only has 4 days left on his life, so 2 good hits from Duchess, and that's the end of his life. And she has used her final day to protect some of her tribe mates, protect Little Autumn, and we can have Kiro come across here and lick Autumn's wounds so that he isn't going to lose any more life to that Bearyena attack. And then that is going to be all of the issues that we have, so we'll just have a little look at our new baby that was born, and then we can end the episode out there. So let's have a look at Sierra's new baby, and it's a beautiful little girl. She's absolutely gorgeous with her chocolate markings and her sandy coloured fur. She carries the short-sighted eyes again, but she does also carry the poison fangs. She actually has the mask, which I believe is why she has the tiny little chocolate kind of sunglasses over her eyes, I suppose. She's quite big with her big body, so she's going to bring more strength to the pack because of that. So what are we going to call her? So what I believe I will do is leave her unnamed, and if any of you guys could think of a name that you would like to call her before the next episode, if you let me know in the comments, and we'll pick a name for her before we start out the next episode. So I hope you enjoyed watching. Please leave a like and a comment. If you want to see more from the Survivors Cove tribe, please subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter, which is @VelvetCurse, for reminders when new videos are uploaded. Thank you for watching, and farewell for now.